All right. So I have a question for you. I typically do have a question in some fashion that we focus these episodes on or talk about either questions that I have or questions that have been submitted. So the question that I have for you today is, what is the scripting manifesting method? Do you know what that is? And if you don't, that's cool, because what I'm doing today is answering the 5W questions about the scripting manifesting method. And the 5W questions are let's see, who, what, when, where, and why. And sometimes there's a sixth, how, with the W being at the end. So I'm going to touch on those a little bit today and share how you can start learning this and practicing it with a group of us, starting in a couple weeks. And so for those of you who are brand new and for those of you who are returning, I love you both. Welcome to the Rockstar Manifestors podcast. My name is Patty, and I specialize in helping you believe in your dreams and making it so that they have no choice but to manifest for you by showing up and embodying and living life now as the person who already has those dreams. And so that by default then attracts them for you. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Let's see, get my notes all prepped here. And all right, so here we go. I can see everything that I need to see. So let's see. I told you what the 5W questions were: who, what, when, where, and why. I'm really going to focus on 3 of those in this podcast today, and then just very briefly touch on 2 of them. So the order that I'm going to start with is what. Because if you don't know what I'm talking about, it would not so much. It would not make so much sense to start on a different question. So, what is the scripting manifesting method? Quite literally, it is writing out the script of your life, how you want it to go. Not how it has gone so far, that's reflection, but how you want your life to go. And it is a journaling method that you can completely personalize to yourself. All journaling you can personalize to yourself. But scripting takes into account your imagination, your desires, your personality, your life experiences, your visions of the future. And if you don't know what those answers are, like what do you want? Who do you want to be? Again, the 5 W's, but directed inwards. This is a fabulous method that you can play around with, be creative with, and tweak, because it's a script. It's a script. So if you think of this as a script, what do scripts, like for TV shows or plays or even movies, what do they frequently go through? Edits and revisions multiple times. So a script is simply a process, right? From start to end, it looks probably quite different. And there's many iterations along the way. And then things happen to affect the script as well, right? Like in a TV show, maybe one of the characters quits or gets fired, or something happens in their personal life. Like, for example, a character in real life might get pregnant, but they're not pregnant in the show. And so the writers have to adjust for that. And so all sorts of modifications and things happen just like in our real life. So if you think about it, it's literally writing the script of what your desires are, what you want your life to look like, what experiences you want to have, what type of person you want to be. That is what scripting is. So it's a very simple question. It's just lots of different components that you can incorporate or invite in or try. So what scripting is quite literally writing the script of your life moving forward, how you want it to be. Who is the second W question. Who should do it and who is it good for? Either or both of those questions. Blanket statement, everyone should do it. It's good for everyone, but for different reasons, right? Because again, your story is unique to you. So this is a good, I'd say excellent practice if you are someone who says, I don't like to journal, I don't know what to write about, I'm not a creative person, I'm not good at visualizing, and I don't know what I want. So if you fall into any of those categories, and even if it's sometimes, because we change and life goes up and down and our thoughts and emotions and everything change and fluctuate as well. So this, I think it's fair to say that all of us have said that or feel that way at one time or another, current, present, and probably in the future as well. So this is good for all of those. So who should do it? Everyone. And depending on your reasons or your focus or your intention, it can be, like I said, for someone who says, I don't like to journal or I don't know what to write about, I'm not very creative, I'm not good at visualizing, and I don't know what I want. There are probably some other categories that would fit in there as well. And if you want to share some, if you have some input, you can feel free to go ahead and share that in the comments of the live recording or on YouTube. And if you're actually listening or watching this on Spotify, there is an interactive option. And anytime that you want to communicate or send some information my way, you can always email me. And the email is vision, VISION, at bluemoonmanifestations.com. So we've covered what it is, who should do it or who it's good for. And then here is really probably the meat, the biggest portion of these 5 W questions for today is, why should you do it? Why should you try scripting? Why should you incorporate this as part of your journaling practice on whatever level, like daily or weekly or, periodically, whatever the case is? Why? The very first reason that I will share is because writing is simply magic. Writing is magic. There is a process that happens from whatever you're writing about being in your brain and simply living there, like, things we think about or things we want to remember or ideas that we have, conversations, we have internal dialogue that we practice or kind of like have on repeat, either conversations with ourselves or conversations with others. So there is a process that happens. It helps you remember, it helps you process things differently. And it is this energetic flow when you go from thinking something in your head in whatever form that it is, taking a pen or a pencil or marker, whatever it is, and writing it down or doodling it down, putting it down on paper versus simply typing it or putting on a keyboard. There is a process and some type of mental process, like where it retains it. It get your brain working on the visual and also the thinking portion of it. And if you read it to yourself in any way, it also incorporates then hearing and speaking. So all of those things happen on some level when you write things down. Next, writing or scripting specifically allows you to practice being you. And what I mean by that is, how many times have you in your life, at any time, present, when you were a kid, whatever, how many times in your life have you said or thought, I wish I knew what to say in this situation, or I wish I had a good comeback, or I wish I had whatever, the confidence, the motivation, the knowledge, whatever it is, you can practice being you as you write the script of your life, and you can write out the way that you would like to behave, the way that you would like to come across in the world. And it's a safe way of doing that because you're simply writing it down on paper. You're not actually yet showing up physically that way, but you're getting your brain wrapped around this idea. You're getting your brain accustomed to thinking like you want to think. You're getting your brain used to seeing you, if you will. For those of you who are not watching this on video anyway, I did the air quotes, seeing you in a different way, the way that you desire or wish you could show up in the world. So you can practice saying things to people. You can practice, you can write out how you would like to dress, figure out or write through like the things that you love to wear that make you feel amazing, the colors, the fabrics. All this happens in your brain visually as you're writing it out and you're experimenting and you see how one thing flows into the next. You can practice saying things like answering people's questions or responding to situations. You can write out the script of how you want to be. Do you want to be someone that stays calm in a chaotic situation? Do you have the desire or the vision to be someone who is a on their feet problem solver, right? That you can just come up with things. You can practice being this version of you on paper as you write it out, and you get continued clarity on what that looks like and what that feels like for you. And so then moving on into the next one, practicing being you, practicing showing up and being in the world on paper like you actually want to be doing it, builds the confidence in yourself to actually try the damn thing. Right? If you write down over and over or in multiple ways that you just want to be someone who has, blue streaks in their hair or who cuts their hair short or does something, and you write it over and over and over in different ways, in different conversations, just in multiple scripting sessions, if you will, or script writing, your brain does not know the difference between what your reality is in the physical and what you're writing down as what you want your reality to be. But it does notice that there's a disconnect. It's like, wait, this is the desire. So what can I do to move this person in that direction? So write it out. Write out all the details that you can think of. Write out the questions that come up for yourself that you would then want to answer. They'll be along the lines of the 5W questions, but maybe some other ones as well. So as you practice being yourself in your script, you build the confidence and more of the desire to actually do it in the physical, real life, if you will. It helps you, scripting helps you make your desires believable because of the same concept. The more you write it, the more you feel good and feel excited, even a little bit nervous or scared, but it makes it believable because you are experiencing those emotions when you write them. You're experiencing them either in your physical body, because as you're writing, you get happy or you get excited, and you're experiencing them in your script because that is part of the detail, right? So if you were to write, for example, I quit my job and it felt fucking fantastic. So you experience that in your writing and you experience that in your physical sense as you write it. So you are developing this believability that your desires are possible because you're writing them out in your script, right? And in the script, this is kind of like a sidebar that I will touch on later on, not in this episode, but it is the script. You write your script in present tense, right? Like if you were to read a script, or when you even listen to a play or a TV show, they're talking as if they're in the moment, unless it's a narrator, but they're talking. So that's how you write your script, as if it's happening in the very moment that that you're experiencing it. Next, you can explore various scenarios in your script. So that's kind of like the different versions or the different possible scenarios that a script writer might write out for a movie or a TV show or even a play, anything that requires a script. Maybe you don't know quite what it looks like, or you're not sure. So you start writing the script and see where it leads you. Maybe it brings up new ideas, or you're like, okay, I don't like this aspect of this version or this storyline, but I'm going to take the part that I do like and now try it in this storyline and this version, another version. So you can explore, get creative and curious about different scenarios and try them out, because there's nothing to lose simply by writing out ideas and writing out various potential storylines. And as you do this script writing, you are also getting to know yourself and getting clearer and clearer on your desires, because you start to notice, like, okay, this is what I'm writing a script based on, let's say, a desire that you have, that you just, it's something that you think you want or that you've been working towards, or you think it would be a good idea, whatever the case is. You start writing your scripts and then you realize, you know what, this doesn't excite me. This doesn't excite me as I'm writing about it. It's actually kind of like, I don't really feel like writing about it anymore. That is not anything to be upset about or judgmental to yourself about. It's simply information, but you're able to objectively evaluate it because you're looking at it on paper. You're not so much thinking it without the exploration. And you start to realize as you write your script that there are things that are popping in your mind. Like when you realize or you think or say something like, this doesn't excite me. And then you let go of that a little bit, right? Because you're like, oh, this doesn't excite me. So what else can I write about? Or what else would I like to explore? It invites your soul, your inner being, your intuition, whatever that resonates with you. It allows ideas and your genuine desires to float up and become visible and give you a new storyline to explore in your script. So you get to know yourself through writing the script of your life, because again, it takes that pressure off and you can see it from a different perspective, even though you're writing about yourself. You're writing the script of your life. So of the 5 W questions that are who, what, when, where, and why, I have covered what scripting is. It's quite literally just writing the script of your life. Who should do it and who it's good for? Everyone, and for different reasons that I went over. And why should you do it? Because of the benefits that I just mentioned, amongst many others. So the other 2, the remaining W questions, are when and where. So the overall answer is that you can, of course, write and script and journal anytime for the when. Anytime being, at home, at work. If you are someone who commutes on a bus or a train, you could do that then. You could write at lunch. Just think about script writers, like for actual movies and TV shows, and actors as well. They fit their acting or script writing in at any time, right? Like on their lunch break from their day job, or on the weekends, or whenever they have these little pockets of time. So when, anytime at all. And where, again, anywhere at all. I kind of combine those 2 together. So in the overall general sense, the when and where is anytime and anywhere that you are inspired, or you have time, or that you dedicate time to do this in. Now, for the practical, or that's not, I shouldn't say, not that it's not practical, for my specific situation, the when and where, I am going to actually be hosting a free scripting challenge in my free group. So there is no investment at all other than your time and your commitment or your desire to try it out. And I'm going to be hosting this from April 17th. And I'm recording this on April 5th of 2023. And so this is going to be happening in my Moon Manifesting Rockstars Facebook group from April 17th, which is a Monday, through April 21st, which is a Friday. So for 5 days at 11 a.m. Pacific, I will be going live in the group and sharing a new prompt or activity relating to this scripting challenge. And I am going to put links in the descriptions or the captions of any place that you can catch or watch or hear this podcast episode so that you can click on that and either get registered or find your way to the group if you're not there. Like I said, it's a free group and the challenge is free as well. Now, if you are watching or listening to this in the future, after the scripting challenge has ended, there will likely be another link. And that could be, depending on when you happen to catch this, a waitlist link or getting on my list so that you know when the next challenge or next workshop or whatever is coming up. Or there may be access to get it on demand, so to speak. Like if once I have the time to package it and put it together so that you can get it on demand and all that, again, depending on how far in the future you're watching or listening to this, those will be the links there. But in real time of April of 2023, up until about, April 17th when it starts, the link will take you to the current registration and to the group. So the group will be available always. So regardless of when you're catching this episode, join us in the group. We have some pretty cool people. There are things that go on in the group like this challenge, and I share information and I go live there twice a month to talk about the new moon and the full moon and the zodiac season. So there's always some good stuff going on. So join us in the group anytime. So now there is a bonus W question. I touched on it at the very beginning. The bonus W question is how, and it is I forgot what the phrasing is, where it's like related but not directly the same, because obviously how does not start with the letter W like the other questions. It ends with the letter W. So they kind of have it like connected by association, if you will. And the how that I'm going to share with you and that this challenge is focused on is music. I am making this challenge a musically based or inspired challenge, with the theme being write the lyrics to manifest your rock star life. Now, you do not have to be a musician. You don't even have to play an instrument to participate in this challenge. This challenge is for anyone who is a music lover, music of any kind whatsoever, because I'm going to talk about ways to use music and lyrics to help you create your own lyrics and script, and to also use it as inspiration. And so as kind of like a companion, if you will, although I've had this around for a while, you can get my Manifesting Songs playlist. And that is, again, also a free playlist that you can get. And that link will remain wherever you're catching this, because that's not specific to the challenge. It's simply something that you might want to check out and listen to some songs on my playlist, and see if you like them, because the playlist, the songs that I have included on the playlist are ones that I feel are designed to help you feel like anything is possible. So you can check that playlist out in association with the challenge or completely separate. And let's see, was there something else? So anyone can participate. You don't need to be a musician or even have desires to be anything in the public, like a rock star or an actor or anything. This is just a theme that I like. I really love music. I incorporate it in pretty much every day of my life in multiple ways and multiple different types of music, depending on the situation or my mood. So my personal twist on the scripting challenge is making it musically themed and having you think about writing the script of your life in lyrics, right? Creatively, another way to tap into that creative energy. And since the challenge starts in a little bit less than 2 weeks, about a week and a half, there is one more podcast episode before the challenge starts, which will be next week. And that podcast topic is going to be about I'll just say, and then I'll give the caveat. The manifesting or a manifesting trifecta of the moon, music, and journaling. And so those are three awesome components that work very well together for manifesting. And my caveat is it's a manifesting trifecta because there are multiple manifesting trifectas, at least the way I look at it. So that is just one version of the manifesting trifecta. So I will be talking about the moon, music, and journaling in connection to the scripting challenge on next week's episode. So if you're listening to this in real time, check back next week. If you're listening to this in the future after it is posted, then just keep on listening and you'll catch it right after this is over. So that is what I have for you guys today, answering the 5 W questions about scripting, and then putting my very own spin on it at the end with the bonus question of how. And I would love, again, to hear your feedback. If you have maybe some ideas or suggestions or something that you would like me to talk about on a podcast episode, or you would like to hear more about, shoot me an email at vision@bluemoonmanifestations.com. That's vision, VISION, at bluemoonmanifestations.com, all one word. And I look forward to seeing you in the challenge and in the group and also on next week's podcast. So thank you guys. Have a great one. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.